Hi, friends, and welcome. On today's adventure, we're going to take two of our youngest, and as far as I'm concerned, two of my favorite pro staffers out and try to get them a wild turkey from right here in the great state of Michigan. We're going to go out with Kyle Cruzan and Caitlin Lilly and hopefully fill their first season Michigan Spring Turkey tags. Our good friend Mr. Bill Funk has invited them down to Southwest Michigan to hunt some properties he has there. And we're going to start with Kyle Jr. in the blind with Bill, who has a tag of his own he'd like to fill. And they've seen and heard a lot of birds on this particular piece of ground, but I have to warn you, seeing and hearing is not shooting and getting. Now after that, we're going to go out with Caitlin and try to fill her tag before we run out of time. But first, let's head out. It's the first morning of the first season. Kyle Jr. and Bill Funk are in the blind with me. And to say there's some turkeys on this property, well, I think that's kind of an understatement. Hey, I'm your host, Kyle Randall. This is my Wilderness Journal, and we're taking young people out after some old birds right now. When it's still pretty early, and you're still pretty young, staying awake at this hour can be a pretty tough ticket. But friends, I know of no better alarm clock than the gobbling of a big old tom coming off the roost.
Get your gun up and be ready. He's right here somewhere, yeah. More than one. You get your gun up, too. I got it. Ready. The whole bunch.
It sounded like we had a bunch of them coming until some sandhill cranes flew over, so I called one more time and... Now we had all kinds of ruckus going on out in that field. We had sandhills and toms gobbling. I was calling. You could hear seagulls. Seemed like everything but a parade full of elephants was going on behind us, but we couldn't see anything. And then finally, a huge tom that was missing like half of his tail feathers had stepped out of the brush line and was standing there strutting. We waited for him to come out to the decoys, only he turned and went right back into the brush. I think Bill could have taken a shot at him, but the way Kyle was set up, there was no way he was going to be able to shoot down that edge. And then he stepped back out again.
There's a bunch of them right there.
Maybe this time.
He's standing back there struggling. I don't think he's coming.
And then again, maybe not. And then the reason for the first tom leaving stepped out just a little further down the fence line.
There's 2 or 3 back here. Stay on that one, Kyle.
This was obviously the boss, and he was headed right straight to the decoys.
Get on that big one.
And then just before Kyle could shoot,
Wait for the jakes to get out of the way.
2 jakes came running out and cut right in between him and that big boy.
Shoot the big one. Stay on that big one, Kyle. He's leaving. Can you shoot that one? Get it. It's getting too far away. Wait, okay, there's a bunch more. We'll just wait.
Two big toms and no shots. Well, that is to say Kyle didn't take a shot. I'm certain Bill could have tipped over either one of those birds, but he very graciously held his fire. And now, with one of the big birds leaving, Kyle had to decide. He still had two birds in front of him, two jakes, and what sounded like a whole bunch more behind us. There was a virtual cacophony of sound around young Kyle. And yes, that's a word. There were birds behind us, birds in front of us. The toms behind us obviously had at least one hen with them. You could hear her cutting. I wasn't real sure what Kyle wanted to do. I didn't know, was he going to try to take one of these birds? The second of the two big toms was moving farther and farther off. It was pretty obvious he wasn't coming back. So sooner or later we were going to have to decide, because one thing was for certain. No matter how many birds were in front of us or behind us, this couldn't last forever. Sooner or later they were going to leave. Friends, things was getting pretty tense inside that blind. I could see Kyle was lined up on these two birds, and I could tell he was kind of waiting to see what else might come out. And then I thought, he's just going to pass. And then...
There's another. Right, bring it back. Bring it back. It's another Jake. And that Tom. That's a leaper.
Another Jake and a bigger Tom was coming out from our left. Maybe all this waiting was going to pay off after all. I kept sweet talking them, hoping I could draw that other big Tom in, and then finally they decided to come. That is to say, the Jake decided to come. The big Tom wasn't budging. He was just standing over there strutting. More long, nerve-straining moments slowly ticked by. We kept waiting to see if another older bird might not come out into the field. But as we sat there, I could hear the group from behind us beginning to move off. They were getting farther and farther away. If something didn't happen pretty quick, well then Kyle was going to have to decide.
Buddy, you're going to have to decide. Do you want to shoot one of these or do you want to wait? Then shoot that one that's struck right there. Take the safety off. Wait for them jakes to clear. Don't hit more than one. You're welcome. He's all done. Let me pull this up and we see that shiny face of yours. There. Nice job, man. Good bird. How'd you let that... There was like 2 big toms. What was the deal there? Too many turkeys?
I thought I was too far away.
Well, when that second big tom stopped, that was getting out there. But when he was right here at the decoys, I think you could have clipped him. It was good, though. You didn't shoot when them other jakes got in the way. That's enough turkeys for one spot. What do you tell Bill?
Thank you.
You bet, buddy. No problem.
Now, you want to go get your bird?
Yes.
All right, we'll go get yours and have a look at it, and then we'll take... Bill and I will go get one while you take a nap in the truck.
Okay.
You all right with that?
Yeah.
Nice job, buddy. Congratulations.
Good job, buddy.
Young Kyle had waited it out. He'd done a great job.
Got your tag?
Now it was time to claim his prize.
That's my 6th turkey.
6 in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. How old are you?
11.
11, and you've already got 6 wild turkeys.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool. Nice shot, by the way. That one went about 4 feet.
Thank you.
Yeah, good job. What happened with them other toms there?
They got too far away for me to shoot.
Yeah. That first big tom with no tail feathers coming, that thing was huge, but he didn't like your decoy. He come out, went back in. Come out, went back in. We got you turned so you could shoot, and then what? He left. Well, he didn't leave.
He was standing right behind us.
Yeah, we couldn't turn around there. I thought Bill was going to poke his gun out the back and clean one up out there. There was, how many do you think were back there?
8 to 10.
Yeah, and then there was 4 or 5 out in front of us, 3 jakes, and that one big, I thought for sure you were going to clock that one big tom, but either way, that's a nice turkey. You like that hunt? Pretty exciting?
Yes, that's pretty exciting.
Better than sleeping in this morning?
Yeah.
Yeah? What do you think now?
Wait until fall?
I think maybe if you picked up that turkey and all that gear and humped it all the way back up to the truck, Bill and I could go for a coffee.
No.
Congratulations, buddy.
Congratulations, Kyle Jr. You made a great shot and got a dandy bird. You also made some great decisions on that hunt, and I am truly proud of you. Folks, it's not always about the biggest or the most. Sometimes it's just purely exciting, and the deer or the bird or whatever you're chasing, well, that's kind of the icing on the cake, and that's how I feel about that bird, and I'm sure if you ask Kyle Jr., he does too. Now, let's shift gears a little bit. It's a couple of days later, and we're going to head out with Caitlin Lilly on the last couple of days of Michigan's first spring hunt. We're hopeful we can get her a bird bagged before it's all over, but I got to tell you, every day that goes by in a 7-day season, well, let's just say you can hear the tick, tick, tick really loud. And yes, friends, what I said about being pretty young and it being pretty early,
There's a turkey.
fortunately, it wasn't long before.
There's a couple birds there.
Kate got herself set up, but I think even though we could hear sometimes, she wasn't really all that excited. Not yet, anyway.
Behind us.
They're getting closer.
I know, but they're behind us.
Yep. They're going to come up over here somewhere. You watch them through there real close.
And remember what I said about a gobble for an alarm clock?
He's still out there. I hear him. He's coming. There's one coming. You hear him? I hear hen. There's hens right behind us. They're coming too. Hey, hey, come. Here comes some jakes. Right here.
The birds were finally coming out. They were coming from right behind the blind, pretty much straight behind Kate's right shoulder. But they were coming. A couple of runs on the box call had them coming, at least a few of them. I could see at least 4 jakes and 1 tom coming.
Bunch of jakes and 1 tom.
And then the toms split off and went behind us. Katie sat and watched those 4 jakes walk by right in front of us. I'm talking 10, 15 feet. And she just sat there motionless watching. Try as I might, I just couldn't pull that big tom out, and these birds weren't going to stay around forever. Kate was going to have to make a decision.
You want one of those? You're going to wait.
And then she did. We could hear what sounded like a bigger bird just behind us, so Kate decided to hold off and let those jakes leave. Now, I have to tell you, I didn't doubt her reasoning, but I was more than a little bit concerned because I knew if we couldn't call that bigger bird in here, well, let's just say I knew who was going to get the blame.
There's a big one coming. I can hear a big one. Hear it? There's a bigger tom coming. Hear him? Yeah.
The jakes were moving off. The tension was palpable. We just sat there. All we could do was wait. He knew we were here. And then?
Here he comes, right here. Right. Can you see him? Shoot him, Kate. You got him, baby.
Well, that one ain't going nowhere. Nice job, girl.
Here, let me help. There you go. Rack that empty out of there.
Pick up your empty.
He's not going anywhere. What do you think?
Right.
He might? Hey, you want to go out there and make sure he doesn't?
Yeah.
All right, put your gun down. Nice job, girlfriend.
It's stuck.
Yeah, careful, that a girl. All right. Hey, that's sweet. All them jakes, you let them go. That was the right choice. We could hear that big tom. Yeah? You're dying to get out there, ain't you?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get a little bit of orange on my vest and you can go out there and put a tag on, all right?
Okay. Wow.
Grab a orange thing out of the vest. Go ahead, pick them up. Put him down right in front of that tree. There you go. Nice. Spread that tail out a little bit. There.
Well, 4 jakes came walking in.
Yeah, what happened with them?
We let them go
Why?
because there's a bigger one coming in from behind.
How'd you know that?
Because it was making racket.
Yeah, he was making some racket. What, we could hear him strutting and gobbling?
Yeah, so you decided we'll let them younger ones go, and then what?
The big town came, chased the jays away, and started attacking our decoys.
That was pretty cool, wasn't it? He was gonna beat that plastic right off that decoy.
Yeah.
And then you couldn't shoot, because the gun wasn't out the right window, right?
Yeah.
We had to move, and what happened when we moved?
He saw us.
Uh-huh.
Idiot, so he stood.
Yeah, I called him one more time and he stopped, and that was kind of a mistake, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can't stop and look back. Let that be a lesson to you, boys. Never stop and look back. So now, you ready to pack him up?
Yeah.
What are we gonna do?
Eat it.
Yeah, we're gonna go home and get some breakfast.
Yeah.
I'm ready to get some. Maybe take a little nap. I'm old, I need a nap.
No.
No, I'm not, I don't get a nap?
No.
What, you gonna take a nap?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can clean the turkey while you're napping.
Yeah.
You're just like your Grammy. Congratulations, Caitlin. What a tremendous shot on a dandy bird. You waited it out, young lady, and you made it pay. And for the record, friends, that's a full choke 410 that Caitlin's hunting with. And yes, she does know how to drive it. Hey, I want to thank again our good friend and host, Mr. Bill Funk. I should tell you, we did get him out and got his bird as well. There's a lot of them down there in that part of the country, and I truly appreciate you inviting us down and letting us have at a few of them. Folks, if you get the chance, take a young person, an old person, a first-timer, an old sage, get out in the spring and chase some of them toms around. It is absolutely the best way I know of to shake off a long, cold winter, and it's a great way to start your season. Hey, I hope we see some of you out there doing it. I hope you're calling in a long beard of your own. And if we do bump into you out there, well, you know we're going to stop and share that cup and a fire. And if I don't see you out there, friends, well, then I'll wait for you right back here so we can share another adventure from my Wilderness Journal.